It's your boy Butter here, and welcome to Real Life with Butter. Are you ready? Mark Mulch is in the house.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, buddy?
Good to see you, my friend.
We're at the Tin Roof 2.
Yes, we've been here before, but not that I remember.
We've done this.
Yes, without a doubt. We've done the Tin Roof tours of Nashville. I remember when the first one opened on Demumbrian.
That would change Nashville, to be honest with you.
Change that street for sure. Yeah.
You and I are old enough to remember that street when it was like...
had like the hound dog hot dogs
the hound
on the
dog
corner.
hot dogs, and it wasn't even anything yet.
No, yeah.
And then Demumbrian was like the spot.
Do you remember when the Country Music Hall of Fame was on Demumbrian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the upstairs with all of the...
We're not that old, by the way, who's ever listening.
Yeah. we're relatively speaking.
Relatively.
They had like the clay figurines upstairs on that corner of the museum.
Yep.
You could see like Porter Wagner as a clay figure. It was spooky up there.
And a weird, out of place Elvis museum on the corner that had like two of his cars in it.
I think
that's why it was an Elvis museum.
Wasn't it Ronnie Millsaps or like
that sounds about right. Yeah. And the studio was right up the street.
So now we're down in Tin Roof 2 in Cool Springs.
Yeah.
And we're older.
We're wiser, hopefully.
Life's changed a little. So around that time, and I don't know if I mentioned it enough, but this is Mark Mulch on Real Life with Butter here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. If I just did the intro again, I'm sorry, but I for some reason I didn't give you a proper intro. So you are a Jersey boy.
Yes, I hail from New Jersey.
How did this process happen that you start from Jersey and end up in Nashville, Tennessee? Give us the 1 minute and 20-second version of that.
All right,
Mark
I'll
Mulch.
try that. Well, I've always loved country music back from like Kenny Rogers, I guess I would say, in Alabama and all that stuff back in like late 70s that my parents would have on the TV back home, and then moving forward through like Travis Tritt and Little Texas and all that like 80s, 90s stuff. And so it was always something that I imagined myself coming down here to continue the music journey. But the music journey started in Jersey with like
bands,
with like the hair metal scene, like the hard rock and heavy metal.
And these were your bands? You had hair metal bands?
I had a band called Brigade back in the day, and of course, yes. And we were there with all my buddies. They were in Trickster and Skid Row and all the bands that came out of that, that area. Brigade, yeah. We all were on the same bills. We almost got there. We had we had a meeting
Label
with
interests.
Atlantic, and that scared two of the guys in the band that were like, whoa, wait a second. I thought we were just doing this on the weekends, like for girls and stuff like that. And then meanwhile, we're having meetings with Atlantic Records. They scattered. And we kind of never were able to regroup, so I moved on and started doing more country rock, southern rock.
At that time, too?
Yeah, back in Jersey.
Now, during that time, wasn't this a John Bon Jovi town? And
oh, yeah.
So much, that was a music scene there, legitimately. A lot of folks were coming out of that area.
Yeah, like I said, like Skid Row and Trickster and a bunch of other bands, and then right over the river with New York, like White Lion and bands that were huge back then.
Wasn't that Wait?
Yeah, very good.
Wait.
And When the Children Cry.
When the Children Cry. 12-string electric guitars.
Yes. But we would go see those guys at the clubs, and we were all playing the same clubs and stuff like that. So it was a wild time back then.
And that brought you, that sort of did what it did, and then didn't quite get where you were intending, you personally.
Right.
And then you end up coming to Nashville.
Yeah, and before then, we, my band, the Lemongrass Band, we got a record deal with the Marshall Tucker Band.
Yeah.
And we got signed to their Ramblin' Records and stuff like that. So we had a bunch of success too. But similar, there were guys in the band that didn't expect us to be doing this for the rest of our lives, like you and I are doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what led me down here, because
what is Lemongrass? How do you get to the Lemongrass Band? What did that start from?
The Lemongrass Band was me saying that I was done and not doing music. I went into the music business. I started working for EMI Music Publishing. But I was still writing a little bit at home. And then my nephew, who was only 14 at the time, heard some of the songs and hadn't clued me in that he started playing drums. And so we got together one afternoon in his bedroom, and I was playing these songs that I had written that were more country, southern rock songs. he played drums better than anybody I'd ever been in a band with before, and he's 15, you know. And just we always joke that we kind of like accidentally, we just started a band with me, him, his dad, my brother-in-law, my best friend from college, and then within like 2 or 3 years it just took off. We became like, you know, we got named the best unsigned band in Jersey and all this other crazy stuff, and then it just took off. And the next thing we knew, we were touring, which the plan was to play the bars on the weekends if we could, you know. So that kind of took off for a while. So it was cool.
And that was called Lemongrass.
The Lemongrass
So
band.
what was Lemongrass? How did that name come on?
Casey was fast forward a couple years into the band. We started out as Southbound, but there were like 12
of
other
those,
at least, yeah. And Casey then hit 18 years old, was going to a culinary institute in Atlantic City. He came home to rehearsal one night and was just like, I got the band name. And we were like, great, because we had been trying everything. We even tried a Ouija board and everything. Like we were searching, and he goes, Lemongrass, and we all stopped. You know how it is when you come up and we all stopped, and then our bass player, we loved the band, the band, and he goes, the Lemongrass Band, and we all went, yep,
that's awesome.
It, you know, and,
Lemongrass.
It worked. I mean, then we shortened it. Everyone, our fans called us the Grass for several different reasons.
For other reasons.
Other reasons, yes.
So this after Lemongrass, and I was just curious because that's such a unique name, Lemongrass.
That's where Mulch came from, though.
Oh, okay.
Believe it or not.
So now the Mulch Brothers, as you get to Nashville, Tennessee. Now, anybody that's listening or watching, you got to understand, Mark Mulch has the best head of hair in the entire business. You and Fergie,
Thank you.
Fergie, our
yes.
brother, our brother from another mother, Fergie. Yeah. Y'all have that same. So I get the whole hairband thing. Like you have that.
I was doing that.
And you still do, you know. But then you get to Nashville, and it's a little more country. And I know you started when I met you. It was the Mulch Brothers band or Mulch Brothers that I met you with. Mm-hmm. So take us through that little run here, because I've got so many questions for you. But I would like to just paint this picture for everybody that's listening. When you come to Nashville and you start out and you started in other bands in another town, or you made the decision to come to Nashville, what was that like for you, and how did it begin?
Well, it was me and my buddy Nick. We were both working in New York City. Had great gig. We were music supervisors for a company in New York, and working with every single major advertising company in the world. And working with artists that I never thought I would be on a conference call with Stevie Wonder and his manager, and Stevie Wonder's playing piano and singing a song about Oreos, you know, over the speaker.
Of course,
you know
Oreos,
what I mean? You know, it's just like, well, we had a Coca-Cola campaign where, you know, we had Michelle Branch and Lyle Lovett and Darius Rucker and everybody, you know, doing demos and sending them in, and then, you know, either calling in themselves or having their manager or whoever call in, and they were just doing this great stuff. But we, in the meantime, got so busy that neither one of us was doing music at all anymore. And I wasn't even playing on the weekends anymore because I was shot from work. And I started telling Nick how, like, I thought I was done, that I needed to go back. I wanted to do music full time, and I wanted to do it in Nashville. You know, there was no doubt in my mind that it had to be done in Nashville, because I had this sort of country rock duo idea called the Mulch Brothers. And it came out of, because my keyboard player in the Lemongrass Band, on our way back from a trip to Nashville, was like, what do we do now? Like, now this is after the band broke up, after Lemongrass broke up. And I joked in the car, I said, I guess we make mulch, you know? And then it hit me like, the Mulch Brothers. Right. That'd be a great name for a band. And I could be Mark Mulch. And, you know, and then when I told Nick the idea when we were in New York City, I was like, and you're Nick Mulch. And so one night at an Irish pub in New York, we hatched the plan that we were quitting our jobs.
I love it. It was so easy to remember. When I met you, the Mulch Brothers, you'll never, ever forget that.
Right. I hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and literally you are the first person we met when we moved here. So
unlucky for you.
It was great.
There was a lot of other first people you could have met other than me.
Well, you know, like I always tell the story. It was the first night he helped me unload my U-Haul, and it was about 8, 9 o'clock at night, and we were like, well, it's our first night. We've got to go out. You know, and everyone who's listening, you got to understand that Nashville was a different place back then. You know, so there were a bunch of things going on in town, but then there were things outside of town, and we just saw your name, Trailer Choir, which I think you told me was like one of the first nights you ever played under that name.
That was our first starting down there. This is at the Bungin' Pig.
Yeah. And we just were like, well, trailer choir at a place called the Bunganut Pig. That's probably going to be good.
Sounds like a place we need to be.
Right. And it was. We walked in, and at the time, Big Vinny wasn't in the band yet, but he was
really
he was this young kid
that was really early.
That was dancing like
he was on the fiddle.
He was on the just doing his dance moves and stuff like that, and we were like, wow. But your energy and the high energy show that you were even putting on there at the Bunganut Pig, we were like, oh, good. There's other people here who want to do what we want to do. I think Big and Rich had just broke. Like Save a Horse was the big thing.
Yeah.
And we were so pumped because that's what we wanted to do. I wanted to bring the rock energy, to it all. And then and then Nick was a little more country from Michigan, and he could do that.
Well,
thing,
Big and Rich and Music Mafia at that time was starting, and that was a big inspiration for me. And so for us to meet around that time, I totally get it, because we were trying to do a version of country, and we never were labeled. Trailer Choir was never labeled a traditional country band. We were kind of a comedy country kind of thing. But you guys, the Mulch Brother, you had songs like Booty Call and fun stuff too. You had a lot of musicality, but I could see how we were lining up, and we struck up a friendship at that time, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, then through our good friend Billy Block, on the Billy Block show, and doing that, I think that was all of ours first shot at doing a real show.
I feel like sitting here with you right now, I'm channeling my inner Billy Block.
I feel it.
He was this. This was what Billy Block was known to do, is sit down and talk to you. And, he always had a radio show. So a lot of what I'm trying to do with this is it's funny because you take it back to those days when we were starting. I'm kind of reverting back, with Real Life with Butter is a lot like the Billy Block show, connecting with people,
Yeah, and that's, I think ever since we lost Billy, we, me, you, Vinny, we've all been trying to fill that void. It's going to take 3 or 4 or 5 of us to do it. You couldn't,
No.
Billy was about 5 different people. So, and we need all of us to, help new artists and help new people who are to net. It's overwhelming, and it was overwhelming back then, and it wasn't nearly as big and crazy as it is now. Am I right? It's like these new artists that come to town, I can't imagine what they're trying to figure out which thing to go play
it's
at.
It's so crazy.
And, you had your show that we always went to that was like a collective. We had our sewing circle thing, and then you had Music Mafia, which at the time was starting to kind of fade, because they were doing bigger things. And but now, geez, right? So
I totally get it. The opportunities to play in Nashville are just so. There was always the downtown version of Nashville, but then I never really was. And I love people that play downtown. I love anybody that is willing to play, and those folks make a living down. Those artists make a living down there, and they're learning their show, and they're meeting fans. I mean, what other industry do people fly in every day? Your customers fly into you. Here in Nashville,
you're touring without ever leaving. Yeah,
your tour right here in Nashville. But there's the part of Nashville that's the sort of the downtown, which is predominantly cover heavy. And then there's so many more places that are sort of original music venues. When Trailer Choir was coming up, we were 12th and Porter.
Yeah.
But there's so many more. So you're right. When you come here, and there's just so many more artists, but it could be a good thing too. I mean.
Oh yeah.
You just if you can get busy here and get it going here, you can probably count on making it anywhere.
And then and the from Nashville thing out on the road still works.
It does,
maybe better than ever.
Yeah.
So we both know that we both toured all over the country and stuff under that moniker. Whether while we had record deals or whether we didn't, it was still from Nashville. And it still works. So.
JJ Joey, our show producer, all these cameras got us right, buddy.
There you go.
JJ Joey, we're here at the Tin Roof 2 in Franklin.
Yes,
or
sir.
Cool Springs, I guess. I'm with Mark Mulch, and this is fun because you and I have had a lot of these conversations, but very rarely on video.
Recorded.
With bar music and
Yeah.
Ice and drinks being served in the background. Kind of fits us a little bit.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So you've hit a little new version of Mark Mulch, the sober version.
The sober.
I probably could learn from you.
Sober Mulch.
Sober Mulch. The Sober Mulch brothers.
Yes.
Going good for you? You digging it?
It is. It's great.
Almost a year coming up, right?
It's a little. It's over a year now. So May 27th was my 1 year. Yeah. And I can't say that it started out as something like that. Like I'm going to quit for good. It was I definitely need to stop.
I need
for a little
to
while.
so I can regain my friends back.
Yeah, things like that.
I have pissed off.
Like,
or,
yeah, just people. Just things in general that were not being done the right way. And but then 3 months in, it started to feel like a really good thing. And and now it's like I said to you earlier, I couldn't imagine going back. So I had
You look great.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I had a sip of a Heineken 2 weeks ago because the bartender saw my green Heineken bottle as I held it up to get another one, but it was a Heineken Zero. And she just slid a Heineken across, and I reached and grabbed it while I was talking to my friend and took a sip. And just that sip tasted like rubbing alcohol, basically,
Really?
which blew my mind because I would think that, I could see if I was having like a bourbon or something like that, I'd probably, be like, this is
Now, during
disgusting,
your
but
drinking days, were you more of a bourbon or a whiskey or a beer, or what was your...
I've always been a beer guy,
Beer
so that's
guy.
why, like, with all these non-alcoholic beers, it makes it much easier to make the transition
That's
because
good.
you can still have a beer at the end of a long, hot day or whatever when you're working.
I do appreciate where you're at. I do have a little tin roof tea going on
I
here.
don't blame you.
My
all.
apologies to all of the sober people watching, but
No.
I love that
But-
for you, man. You and I have been buddies a long time, and we've partied. We've
have.
drank the beers. We've done
We've
the
drank
party.
them all.
Yes.
We drank all the beers, drank all the bourbon, all
Yes.
the whiskey.
Many nights. So
Many nights.
you
Yes.
and I do something once a year that you brought me and Big Vinny from us in Trailer Choir and so many folks from Nashville. I think this might be our 5th or 6th year. You were involved in a wonderful event in Wilmington, North Carolina called the Wilmywood.
Yes.
And this is a charity event that helps raise money for kids and folks in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this for a minute.
Yeah, it's something we started with our friends in Wilmington, Joe Bonchek, Ian Sawyer, and we
Ian.
Yeah,
I love Ian.
My name is Ian.
Hi, my name's Ian.
We used to do a thing. I'm in Coastal Classic is what it was called, and Joe had the idea of trying to make their final night more of a big party, and Nick and I had gotten our record deal with the Mulch brothers and everything, and so we were making some waves. So he got them to bring us down there and start playing that event. Well, that event wound up folding like 2 years later. It had already been going for like 25 years, something crazy like that. So when they announced that they were no longer going to do that event, we all got together and said, well, wait a second. This party can't end.
We got to keep it going.
This thing can't, and what we had always wanted to do was pick us. The charity used to be for the hospital, which was a great, cause, but we wanted to do something that was maybe a little smaller and very, very community involved, so we have this Voyage Wilmington, which helps the inner city kids in Wilmington. So we started Wilmywood Country Classic, and y'all were, Trailer Choir and a bunch of our other friends from here, Dave Gibson, Bridget Tatum, so many artists.
And
that
this
are coming
comes into
out.
the play with how connected you are to Nashville, and your role in the charity and kind of what you do down there is to kind of help with the entertainment. And
Right.
You've been bringing so much, this last year, Priscilla Block,
Yep.
Bridget, so many people that have had a lot of successes out of Nashville, like yourself. You bring to the show, and we have shows there, and we do interaction stuff with the kids. But
Yeah.
your connection to Nashville has really impacted that.
Yeah, the
charity,
whole idea was, from me being on the board was to make country. The Coastal Classic was very golf oriented. It was basically a golf tournament, a celebrity golf tournament to raise money. Our thing, Wilmywood Country Classic, is a music event.
Right.
And we just happen to play golf on Monday.
Right.
Mainly for you.
Right,
So that you get to
I don't
play-
mind
so
that
that
at
you
all.
get to play golf.
What's the country club?
And Pine Valley.
Pine Valley
Country Club.
They're great down there.
Yeah.
Course is always in great condition.
Yeah, so it's good. It's fun. And so then golf is just fun. It's a thing at the end of the weekend to raise some more money, but we wanted to bring Nashville to Wilmington every year.
That's great.
And it's been really good this year. Like we got to play Thalian Hall.
Well,
and,
let's talk
and
about that.
everything.
We've done it at the country club for a number of years, but this was the first year. Tell me the name of the theater. I can never.
Thalian Hall.
Thalian Hall, which
Yeah,
is
historic theater.
it's
Downtown.
one of the oldest theaters in the country.
In the country,
yeah,
too.
that's
Yeah, you're
existing.
right.
And I was
You're right.
lucky enough to go on a tour of the whole thing. It's absolutely amazing in the history there, but. I really thought with the Wilmingwood this year going to that theater added a whole nother element to the music.
Right.
You know,
right.
and
well, it gave everybody, a chance to really put on a show. You know, we've never had how many full band acts do we have? 4, I think.
Yes.
And then all the songwriters got to do a song in between the bands. It was a big show, and this year, of course, we were still under some COVID restrictions.
Yep.
But I mean, in looking forward, that's a 600-700 seat theater that we're going to be able to fill.
It's amazing.
Next year, and it like you said, it added a whole new level to it and a whole new element to it. So
it really does, and I actually think, like you mentioned, there was some seat restrictions this year. I think it will be completely sold out next year. And one of the things that I've always taken away from being up there, and there's so many great folks in Wilmington and the that are involved in it, but when you kind of get to connect with some of the kids in the area, and some of these kids that have had struggles growing up or from broken homes, and it's all across, well, that's anywhere in the world. But a lot of times you think of what we do or what this is that we're trying to help them, or we're trying to raise money to help them. It's unbelievable to me how much they help me. What the connection that I find from what they do and the strengths that they have, and these kids impact me probably more than I'm ever going to impact them, man. So it's such it's a great place to be.
Like this year, right? With the little girl that sang the song about her mom and everything.
Yes.
Man.
And her mom wasn't even really ready for that.
No, her mom thought she was just going to sing like a gospel song from church or something.
Yes.
And her mom's filming and then crying, and we're all crying, and this little girl sings a song about how much she loves her mom and how great her mom is, and her mom's sitting right there.
That's what's real.
Yeah.
There
you go. That's real life.
When you talk about why I'm doing this, that's one of the points. That's what's real.
Yeah, and we pulled. You've done it. You produced a track for some of those kids.
Yeah,
right?
we've talked about even doing more of that.
Okay, great.
But when we come down and we for the Wilmingwood Classic, we do some sort of like different sections for the kids where they might learn dancing, they might learn cooking, they might do golf, tennis, sports, and then we do the music, songwriting. And this year, I think we had Lance Carpenter,
Julianne Ankley, and who else? Was Dave Gibson?
Dave Gibson, and Dave brought out his puppets this year.
His frog with him. But the younger kids love that, though. It's great.
I think I could probably want to go off for about 20 minutes on Dave Gibson, just how much I love him.
You just need to have Dave on the show.
I know, but even maybe interview his puppets, It's the Warhog
Waterhole Bunch.
The Waterhole Bunch, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. But Dave's had 6 number ones as a songwriter,
and countless cuts,
and as his own artist. So when we're down there, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
So
good stuff.
We'll always continue that, and maybe even here, as we get into what I'm doing, maybe we'll be able to do a full, Real Life with Butter down there from Wilmingwood next year.
That would be great.
Yeah. And speaking of some ideas that me and Mark were talking about, you are the owner, and this is what happens when you're in Nashville, and you're and this is why I wanted to bring Mark on, is because. Yeah, you write songs. Yeah, you're an artist. You are as busy as anyone I know. Like on the social medias and where everything is when you look at artists and everything
documented,
you are everywhere.
Right.
I mean, I don't even know how to keep up. I tell people all the time that are starting out, and I'm like, go look at Mark Mulch's schedule and try to be like that. But one of the things that's developed for you over the last year or 2 years is you are now the owner and the promoter of 12 South Farmers Market.
Yes.
Is that the correct pronunciation of it?
Yeah, 12 South Farmers Market.
And so this is a farmers market that you do on 12 South, which is gorgeous over there.
Great neighborhood.
It's right at the end of the strip. What's the park there called?
Sevier Park.
Sevier Park. It's one of the most gorgeous places in Nashville.
Yeah, we're lucky. Very lucky.
Is this an every Tuesday night thing during a certain part of the year?
Yeah, so it's every Tuesday, May through October, 4 to 7 p.m. And, took it over 4 years ago, and it was my buddy Craig Eck, my drummer in the band as well, who the night I told him that I bought the business of it, you have to get permits for the park and all whatever. But he said, "Oh, great, you bought a festival." And I said, No, I bought the little farmers market that I work at, on Tuesdays doing music. And he's like, No, you'll turn it into a festival every week because that's what you do. And I got to say that was not in my brain when I did it. I just did it to keep the market going because it was good for the community. And then the moment that Craig planted that in my head, that was it, and now we are a weekly festival with 60 vendors and food trucks and live music.
One of the best.
And sponsors and the whole thing. And it's just like, but yet it is still very, very community driven and neighborhood driven and all that kind of stuff. So it's just been great. And the music aspect, we have live music every Tuesday. So I have a place and a spot and money to book new artists and friends and and pay people to play music and play their original music,
right.
to let them know that, hey, this is an outlet and a place where get up here and do your thing, sing Rock in the Beer Gut, you know what I mean?
Not everybody
let's
can.
Get everybody right. So it's like to get everybody out there to do their own thing. We got 2 great artists tomorrow for our Peach Festival. So I'm just that's no matter what I do, like on the outside it might look like, boy, he's kind of all over, like it's got a farmers market, does this, that. But if you look at it, every single one has music, in it. Every single thing.
I love it, man.
Music,
you've been able to connect all of the things that you've been in Nashville. You've met so many people. You and I were talking before the show about connections and networking. And it's like when you have something like this, you're able to utilize all of the folks that you've met.
Right.
Plus, you just have a genuine care for people,
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see you see it in the things that you're involved with and the way that you are a friend to so many people. But, a farmer's market is when you get down to the farmers and the food and the people, the atmosphere in a farmer's market is such a unique place. And to have live music and the fact that you bought that and own it, I just found it so amazing, man.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
And maybe here in the next coming weeks, maybe we can do a live thing down there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Interview some of the farmers or some of the artists.
Yeah, just a local, so you we probably have a dozen farms, Tennessee farmers, but and then the rest of the 40 or so vendors or 50 vendors are all small business owners here, in town or just outside of town. So you're giving them a place to set up shop and sell their stuff. And so many of our vendors have gone on to much bigger things to where they can't even be at the market anymore. Alzy's out, salsa.
Yes.
So what
this
is woman called?
It grows out of that, and you're saying that they end up having to put product in.
Product in the stores.
Yes.
They're in Publix, they're in Kroger, they're in Ivory Cotton Bar is the one that blows my mind. She was with us 2 seasons ago. Then she kind of disappeared last year, but we lost touch with some people. We were open last year, even with everything going on, but then all of a sudden you see their Instagram pop back up, and the reason they were away for a little bit is because they made a huge deal with Macy's, and their cotton candy is sold in Macy's now. So
you're the Shark Tank of 12 South.
They didn't have time for
farmers
12 South
market.
Yeah.
You're Mark Cuban of the farmers market.
Yeah, right. So it's good. It's great to see them move. It's kind of like seeing your kids graduate.
That's
awesome.
Know what I mean? That really is.
So yeah, but it's good.
So we got a little bit of time here left. Mark Mulch. Real Life with Butter.
Still doing music though.
I know you are.
We're
going to end on that.
Okay.
We're going to end on that.
Yeah.
Because that's really what, that's why you're here and what brought you here.
Yes,
that's how
sir.
we connected.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saving that just for just the next little bit. But
okay.
I see you've got a little something on the table that you called me the other day. You said, "Hey, I have a present for you."
This is good though, because this is from one of our vendors in the farmers market. So.
And I was like, "Well, let's meet up. Hey, mate, why don't you come be on the Real Life with Butter show?" You're like, "Okay." So we hooked it up. So we were talking. He was going to give it to me earlier, and I said, "Well, let's just do it on camera." I said, "Is it clean or dirty?" He goes, "No, it's clean." So what?
It's on.
I love presents.
Yeah. So this is from our Yellow and Lavender. They're a vegan baking company, but one of their slogans is "Butter, y'all."
Butter, y'all.
And there's a hat right there.
Look at that.
And the moment I saw it, I was like, I need to buy one of those for my friend. His name is Butter.
Butter, y'all.
There it is.
I'll have to wear this at the farmers market.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes. Now, who Who did this?
Yellow and Lavender is there.
And is this that? Do they have a butter y'all like product? Is that what you said?
It's kind of like their slogan.
Okay.
Because they, butter's a good thing.
Everybody
Everybody loves
too.
butter.
That's right. There's so many ways to use it.
Yes.
All
There you
right.
go.
Hey guys, thanks. I'll see you in a few weeks. Maybe we'll come down and do something. Thank you. All right, now I got a little surprise for you
Okay.
too.
All
Okay,
right.
and then we're gonna end this episode talking about your music.
Okay.
Then we're gonna say goodbye to everybody here in a minute. But
Sounds good.
before we do, I call these the Sharpie interviews.
Okay.
They're shotgun questions.
Okay.
You're not allowed to overthink them. Have you ever done this before?
No, but
You've seen this where couples
I'm
do this.
slightly scared.
You have to, because for every question that you don't answer, you have to buy dinner for somebody tonight. So I'm just kidding. You have to pick a microphone color.
A microphone color.
These are our microphones. These are called the Sharpie interviews.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm in.
Now, Sharpie may hate me for doing this. I don't know, but I just have always done this my whole life.
Orange for Tennessee.
Orange.
Right there you
Okay. I'll use blue for beef or butter. So in my lifetime,
I'll tell you something. He did not tell me about this. So
yeah, I did not tell you.
almost
Now,
like-
I got to pull this up on my phone.
I love it.
If y'all can hear the music and the energy in the background, we are at the Tin Roof 2. They are friends of mine and so many people here in town, and just
Yep.
wanted to say thank you for them letting me host my show down here. And you can hear the energy in the background even at lunchtime. It's great.
It's great.
So you have to talk. JJ Joey, you got
So
these?
let's
Are
have-
they live?
Do I got
JJ Joey said they're good.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck, testes. Okay. So I'm going to ask you these. Now, I was kidding. There's no right or wrong here, but you have to be quick.
Just quick answer.
Yes.
First thing that comes to your
Now,
mind.
we may ask you more of these that will
This
end
is
up.
great. I feel like I'm on the Tonight Show now.
Yeah, well, this is fun. There's probably some of these that might not make it. So,
Okay. Gotcha.
I'm gonna get a little Tin Roof tea. All right, these are the Sharpie interviews. Real Life with Butter. Mark Mulch, on the clock. Are you ready, sir?
Yes.
You are not allowed to overthink these.
I'm not.
You got a shot.
Hey, you know me for a long time. I don't overthink a lot. So.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to say this though. Sharpie for us. How many? I think one thing with Sharpie that they should talk about is, you know how McDonald's has how many hamburgers have been sold?
Yeah.
They
I
should
think
say
they should.
how many autographs have been signed.
Ooh, yeah.
Sharpie, I'm giving you that for free. That's the last one.
The other thing is I can never find my capo or my Sharpie when it's time for the gig.
Oh,
It's
well,
Sharpie to write a set list.
I can find my Sharpies
It's
to sign an interview.
There you go.
How many interviews have you signed? Probably 30,000 at this point.
I mean, at CMA Fest alone, how many did we do?
What other marker have you used to sign an autograph?
I'll tell you something.
None.
Right. But if I ever did try to use like a pretend Sharpie or a wannabe Sharpie, nope.
It's never as good.
Smears, it doesn't. Yeah.
Sharpie, you need to focus on how many autographs served, like the hamburgers. All right, Mark Mulch. You're not allowed to overthink these. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
These are kind of food and fun.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite things.
Two things. What is your favorite takeout pizza anywhere in the world?
Ooh. Well, right now, though, it's here. 5 points.
5 points. That was just on,
5 points pizza.
I think it was just on Barstool Sports.
Okay.
Dave Portnoy, I just saw that.
Yep.
If you're going to crush a meal, what is your favorite food to overeat?
Pizza.
Pizza from 5 points. Favorite all-time breakfast cereal as a kid?
Frankenberries.
Frankenberries. Was that like blueberries or what?
So, like, it comes out like around, now it only comes out around Halloween, but it used to be out all, so it was like Count Chocula.
Yes.
And even like Boo Berry.
Boo
was
Berries,
one.
yes,
Like,
yes.
That's when you knew they were jumping the shark.
Hey,
It was like.
yeah, and
there's-
let's just be honest. Now that we're grown up, it was all just sugar.
Just sugar. But I'll tell you what, when it comes out around Halloween, I have to admit.
Frankenberries.
I'll grab a box
I kind of
of
remember
Frankenberries.
that. Mark Mulch. I'm not even talking into my
Strawberry.
microphone. Sorry, guys.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Sorry, yeah.
Talking to my
Favorite party bar in Nashville?
favorite party bar in Tin Roof.
Tin Roof 2 down here in Cool Springs. When you were drinking, how many White Claws could you drink at one time?
None.
None?
Because I would be caught dead drinking a White Claw.
Whatever. White Claws are
No,
good.
I'm kidding. Are they a sponsor?
No.
I love White Claw. No.
No, they're not. And even if they were, we could talk trash on them.
Okay, good.
Because that's the kind of show we have. What is your favorite restaurant anywhere in the world?
Oh, that is so. My nephew has 2 restaurants in Jersey.
What are they called?
Jeet and Apple Street Kitchen. So I have to throw those out. So
Yeah.
if I could actually go to Jeet every day, I would.
Well-
but here in town, Geist in Germantown.
Nice.
And in New York City, a pizza Italian restaurant called Arturo's in Greenwich Village.
Mark just went around the world for us.
Yep.
He didn't leave anybody off of his
There
list.
you go.
Favorite meal of the day, breakfast,
And I'm not
lunch?
overthinking.
No, you're not overthinking. You're over
Sharing.
and taking care of all of his sponsors.
Oversharing.
Favorite meal of the day, breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
That's a tough one. I would have to say
You're a breakfast guy.
breakfast. I love breakfast, especially if it's out.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
like
you
going
used
out
to not
and-
wake up until lunch, so now you can actually eat
that's
breakfast.
the thing, yeah, uh-huh.
Road trip or staycation?
Road trip.
You're always on the road. Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Cats? Are you a cat guy?
I'm a cat guy. I got my little cat. I love my black cat.
Now, do you live
Jessie.
on a boat?
I did for a year.
Okay, you don't live on a boat anymore. I meant to ask
still
you about
have
that.
the boat.
Okay.
But the boat is just a boat. It's not.
Okay.
It's not home.
It was home for a while.
It was home for a while, and everybody would say, "Hey, can we take your house out today?"
Yeah. Is it hard to get mail on a boat? I don't know.
Well, I've had the same PO box since the day I moved here, so.
That's me too. P.O. Box the way to go. Hot sauce or no hot sauce?
I think that was a Billy Block thing, by the way.
What was that?
Billy Block said you need to go to Ackland Post Office and get yourself a P.O.
I
box.
did.
Because he said you're going to move like 12 times
I did.
while you're here.
And
we
what's
were
great
so
is
right.
he's got his headshot still
And
on the
it's
wall.
still
If you
there.
go to the line at the Ackland Post Office, his headshot is still on the
Still
wall
looking at
there.
you,
Yeah.
going, I'm glad you're here.
Yes.
Told you to get that P.O.
Yeah.
box.
If you don't have, share your smile. What was his thing?
And then when you become as famous as we have, you're
Right.
glad you have the P.O. box so people can't find your house.
I have one at the Ackland. These were supposed to be shotgun questions, but it's too hard not to talk about this
Right.
stuff. All right. I think hot sauce or no hot sauce?
Hot sauce.
Okay. Texting or talking on the phone?
I like to talk on the phone, but texting is just the way to go.
I
in that
found it's
sense.
better to talk to you than to text with you. Thumbs up or thumbs down on anchovies?
Down.
Do you like anchovies when they're cooked into the meal, though? Because it changes
Do
it.
not like
Just don't tell
anchovies.
you.
Yes.
Do you put ketchup on steak?
Not anymore, but when I was a kid, oof. I think about that now. My poor parents, they buy me like this sirloin steak at like Beefsteak Charlie's. There's a boy, I'm dating myself right now, but and then I think about it, I'm like, God, I would just put like ketchup all over that.
I
thing.
put ketchup on everything. I'd put ketchup on this Sharpie if I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mayonnaise-based macaroni salad or mustard-based macaroni salad?
Mayonnaise.
Me too. All right. We're down here to the end. Mark Mulch, Real Life with Butter. We're Shotgun. We're doing the Sharpie interviews.
These things sound great, by the way.
Yeah, they're great. They're condensers, you know. The lake for 3 days or the ocean for 2 days?
Oof. I grew up at the Jersey Shore, as you said, but I'm still a beach guy. But I
Yeah.
love the lake now. I do.
Well, you get more days
But-
on the lake for this question, but less at the ocean. That's kind of like
yeah.
what's your call?
You know, I'm gonna take the 3 days at the lake.
I get it.
To tell you the truth.
I get it.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
crazy for me.
Front row seats or backstage passes?
Front row seats. Backstage is not, as we know, is not
Yeah.
what anybody said it was.
It's a lot calmer than
It's
you
a
think.
lot calm.
All right, this is the most important question, y'all. Our producer, JJ Joey, is going to focus in on this last question.
All right.
If I got my microphone
JJ.
correct. Who is your favorite all-time host of a show that you've been on today?
Besides Billy Block, it'd be you.
Butter and Billy Block. I'll share it with Billy Block. That's awesome.
Good ones. I
are
like
with
it.
Mark Mulch, the
I like
Sharpie
it.
interviews. Thank you. All right, buddy, we're going to wind it up here. Tell us, and I saved the best for last. You can hear the phones ringing. We're down here at the
That's 'cause
telethon.
everybody wants to come down.
We're at the telethon at the Tin Roof 2. No.
They
tell
heard
us,
Mark Mulch and Butter were
That's
down.
right. We want to donate to these guys. They look terrible. They need clothes. That's the
No doubt.
telethon number.
Yeah.
You have a new record coming out.
I do. Yeah, I have a new EP.
And you have been writing and recording. I've seen it all over the socials. Tell us about the name of the record and what's coming up and when the release
Sure.
is and where we can all find it.
All right. Well, I started working on a 5-song EP over the pandemic time last year with my buddy Daniel Dennis at Prime Cut Studio in
He's
East
a
Nashville.
great producer, great
He's amazing.
studio.
Plus, he plays everything, and he played just about everything on the record. 5 songs because of being locked down, shut down, whatever you want to call it. Wrote 4 of them by myself, which, as we both know, I mean, that hasn't happened for me in 16 years since I've been here because it's all about co-writing.
Yeah.
So it's nice to kind
More
of have
solo rights.
you know, yeah, four solo songs on there, and then a co-write with my buddy Tim McGeary, who I think you know.
Yeah, Tim, love him.
And it's a return to my rock roots. So Tom Petty, Springsteen, Mellencamp. John Mellencamp's probably one of my biggest influences. And then even bands like Fountains of Wayne and things like that people maybe don't know that I'm super into that, like pop rock stuff. And I'm not the Bon Jovi, of course, you have to, and you can't leave that out.
So how many
But it's
songs?
a
You
little-
say this an EP?
It's a 5-song EP called Blinded.
Now,
Yeah.
you came out with a record last year, or just not too long ago.
About 3 years ago now.
3
yeah.
years
My
ago.
first ever solo record.
I know,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So you and when you release this, what's it being called?
Mark Mulch.
Mark Mulch.
Yep.
So it's no
Yep.
longer the brothers.
No longer the brothers.
It's just
you know.
Mark. It's
I'll
just-
never say never, but
Yeah.
you know, it's Mark Mulch right now. So
Well, that's awesome, man. I can't.
Yeah.
I've been listening, and we've been at some shows. Hastings and Co. is here.
Yeah.
We
they
have-
were at Wilmywood.
I know they were, and we loved it. And I can't wait to hear your music. I have found that this part of you growing up and being in Nashville for so long, and you're kind of coming into this new place and new music thing, and it's just using all that you've learned, all of the things that we've grown up here in Nashville watching, from where you started in New Jersey to Nashville and to now where it is.
Yeah.
I love the way it's sounding, man. And
thank you.
I think I can't wait to hear it and
Awesome.
share it and sing it. Play it at the lake.
Sounds good.
Mark
the 3 days
Mulch.
at the lake.
Hey guys, I want to thank the Tin Roof 2, Real Life with Butter, Mark Mulch.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Woo!
All right.
See y'all.